Warning, the following content has been restricted by the O5 Council. Level 5 clearance is required. What's up, fellow internet denizens? So, you want to make a televised adaptation of an impossibly immense multimedia collaborative public domain effort. Ambitious, are we? Well, ambition is sexy and so are you. The SCP Foundation is way too big to adapt as a whole, as it consists of many different multiverses and conflicting storylines. I see several viable ways to go about this, and no, I don't think the SCP Foundation the movie tale is the right way to go about this. So my first idea was something along the lines of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., though I lost interest when Skye got powers. That wasn't the point of the show for me. I, and many like me, wanted a show about a team of normal, albeit highly specialized people, researching top-secret anomalies and doing cool espionage. Let's make a show like that, but without any anomalies being agents. So, let's center the show around a new recruit. How about a coding prodigy who is out of her depth because she thought she was hired into a cybersecurity firm, but instead she's entered this weird new world. She gets assigned to a team with a few researchers and a cold, reserved higher-up. Their job will be something along the lines of researching and archiving new acquisitions. Let's make the characters on this team be the 5 stock characters that Red from OSP talks about in Trope Talks. The leader, of course, will be the higher-up. The Lancer could be a jaded researcher. The big guy could be a former task force operator who got sidelined due to a debilitating injury. The Heart could be a researcher who still believes in ethics despite his line of work. And the Specialist is the new girl. None of these people are anomalous, or ever will be, though they do have access to anomalous equipment and software. Perhaps we could kill the higher-up guy in a season finale and replace him with the new girl just when she thinks she knows what's going on. That way we can learn more about the Foundation as she ascends, and have our protagonist be even more out of her depth and learn why higher-up guy acted so cold and reserved. There are several types of episodes we could have here. We could have character-focused episodes where we zoom in on one of the 5 and go into their backstory. Perhaps the new girl could have encountered an SCP before and gotten mind-wiped for it, only to have that wear off for some unknown reason as she adjusts to her new job. What if the task force veteran wants to return to her old, more active line of work but realizes she can't even if there is a cure for her injury due to a deeper trauma? What if the jaded researcher wanted to change the Foundation from within but witnessed something gruesome enough to change his mind? What if the ethical, sunshiny, goody-good scientist has a dark looming secret and somehow he stays smiling as a coping mechanism? I could keep going as I am a bit of a slut for character building, but let's talk about other episodes we can make. We could have episodes where characters go out to collect data or a lead and have each character display their unique talents in different situations. We could have an episode where they explore the lack of ethics in the organization. Maybe we could have the team run into rival groups of interest from time to time, and we could have them negotiate or fight depending on the group. What if one of our main character girls' hacker friends from college joined Gamers Against Weed, and we could have them encounter each other during an acquisition operation? We could have a sexy 6th character introduced at the start as part of the team, but he's later revealed as a part of the Serpent's Hand. Wait, that happened in S.H.I.E.L.D. There are so many things we can do here, but it's ultimately limited by being research team focused. There are a lot of other stories we could tell from other perspectives. If we broaden our horizons, we could make something like a horror anthology. Here we could play around with multiple perspectives and potentially multiple universes and timelines. The only real thread of connection between the episodes here is the fact that the SCP Foundation is involved with or interested in the incidents at hand. One of the main themes of the SCP Foundation is containing the uncontainable and knowing the unknowable, and what better way to represent this than horror? There are so many perspectives to draw from here. Entities and anomalies, rival organizations, researchers, D-class prisoners, civilians and amateurs being out of their depth, and so on. If we could have an episode where a D-class befriends an SCP and they vow to break out together, only for the D-class to screw the entity over in some way and the entity taking revenge. For an anomaly-centric episode, we could have a day in the life type episode. For example, let's talk about 507, the involuntary dimension hopper. Our hero is a man who can teleport between dimensions, but he has no control over this ability. Some of these dimensions are cool and weird, while others are actual hell. We could follow 507 as he is in the middle of a D&D game with some researchers. He does this in canon, don't worry about it, and he suddenly gets yoinked into a hellscape where we follow him as he figures out where he is and waits for his next hop. I would probably go with either the dinosaur world or the mold world. Perhaps this could all be filmed by GoPro and we could never get to see his face. That would be dope. For a rival organization, we could do an episode about intrigue and spies with the Serpent's Hand or the Chaos Insurgency. Or perhaps we could have someone from Wilson's Wildlife Solutions be in over their head and have to call the Foundation. Or someone from Parawatch accidentally summoning the Scarlet King or something like that, and the Foundation has to swoop in and clean up his mess. And his organs. Another idea I had for a GOI story would be something from the point of view of the Wanderer's Library, perhaps on the day that the Hanged King escaped, and all the chaos that ensued afterwards. Another episode I would really enjoy would be a documentary on the Diovites, but constantly being edited as you watch it, adding in more and more information and contradicting itself, to the point where the narrator is audibly confused. Maybe we could have an episode or a movie about the SCP Foundation wiping out the Ketlaidi, realizing through Cousin Johnny that the Cicada God is now bound to Christianity, and then sending somebody out to kill the notion of Yahweh in order to stop the Cicada God from destroying the world. 3004 is one of my favorites. I would love to see anything about either 3004 or Cousin Johnny. And finally, I was thinking we could do something like Lost Tapes. You know, those old Animal Planet found footage documentaries on cryptids. These, of course, would be from the point of view of the Mobile Task Force of the week as they navigate an endless building or recover bodies. A lot of times the task force will come out mangled, but let's give them a couple victories to throw the viewer off. I'd personally like to see an episode where we explore what happens to victims of SCP-1276, where victims get shot to Venus if they stand on the wrong pyramid at the wrong time. Or we could have a recon unit disappearing into SCP-3008 and suddenly their cord gets cut and they can't go back, and they have to navigate through mannequins and find their way to a survivor camp. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. I made this because they're adapting one of my favorite books of all time, so I thought I'd hop onto the adaptation train myself. Of course, I'll let anyone take these ideas because I kind of suck at finishing ideas by myself. If you do take these ideas and make them into something, please tag me in them so I can see the cool stuff you've made. Do you guys have any good ideas on how to adapt the SCP Foundation? Are there any good adaptations out there that you've seen? What SCPs would you like to see in a show? Let me know in the comments below. I've been Alien Daydreamer, and I am out. Bye!